And I want to suggest today that having stabilised the banks and creating the conditions for the return to growth, we are at a new and critical juncture for cooperation in the global economy. There is no cause for this, and this is not the time for economic complacency or for overconfidence. A year ago, we took the bold action to recapitalise our banks. We put in place $5 trillion in a worldwide fiscal expansion. We boosted domestic demand with quantitative easing, and I'm grateful to the central banks. We took action at the G20 to underpin trade finance as well. And we now have further choices before us and decisions to make. Do we continue our fiscal and monetary support until we have clearer signs of recovery, or start to remove it now? Do we agree that as we plan our exit strategies, coordinated action is also needed to deliver global, durable growth free of the old imbalances? Or do we return to the old ways and simply let things take their course? Now, I have no doubt what the answers must be. And let me explain. Last year, coordinated action made it possible to bring two advances, stabilising the banking system and creating the foundations for recovery. But as we prepare for the G20 in Pittsburgh, we must achieve two further advances by working together, affirming the action we are taking to avoid undermining tentative signs of recovery that we are now seeing, and creating these conditions for long-term durable growth. Economists in both Japan and the United States have recently warned that it would be an error of historic proportions if we were to repeat the mistakes of the 1930s, when premature tightening prolonged the Great Depression, or if we failed to learn the lessons from Japan's experience of stagnation in the 1990s. The risks still very much remain. At a time when monetary policy effectiveness has been reduced by the strains in the banking system, the unprecedented and wholly exceptional global fiscal action has been vital and appropriate. Without it, each country and the global economy as a whole would now be facing a much more severe recession, dramatically higher unemployment, potentially much higher fiscal deficits and debt over the medium term. And I understand that the International Labour Organization now say that by all these actions that we have taken, at least 7 million and probably 11 million jobs have been protected or saved. For it is clear, in my view, that too early a withdrawal of vital support could undermine the tentative signs of recovery we are now seeing and lead to a further downward lurch in business and consumer confidence, reducing growth and employment and actually worsening government's debt positions over the longer term.